from under her jacket. She lunged for it. "My bread!" she shrieked. "Stop the horse!" "Your what?" cried Mr. Murdoch as he threw a startled look over his shoulder. He yanked back on the reins. The horse was startled too. He slipped and slid on the icy rock, sank down on his haunches, and darted up again. "My bread!" Ellen screamed. "My loaf of bread is gone!" Mr. Murdoch reined in the horse by the side of the scream. "Did you drop my baskets?" he yelled. Quickly, Ellen clutched the saddle with both hands, swung her leg over the horse's rump, and slid down his side. She didn't stop to wonder about the slippery rocks or how deep the water might be. She waded into the stream up to her knees until she could scoop up her bundle. He might have told me he was going to stand up," she grumbled as she opened the kerchief and looked at the bread. It was soggy, but the good strong crust had held its shape. Mr. Murdoch didn't see the need to apologize. Instead, he dismounted, gathered up his baskets, and shook the water from them angrily. He glared at her. "Why did you drop my baskets? It was just lucky they weren't filled with the leather hides I took from to Amboy." Ellen hung her head, but she felt defiant. Why, it was his fault, she thought. He should have told her he was going to stand up. "You made me drop my bread when you stood up," she declared stubbornly. "I had to get it before it floated away and was lost." "That was a witless thing to do. Happens my wife would give you another loaf." "This is a present for an old man's birthday. My mother baked it this morning," Ellen said hastily. "But I'm sorry I dropped your baskets." "Come on, then. Climb back up on the horse." We get a picture of Ellen getting the bread from the water, and can't get a great shot of it, but Murdoch right there on the horse. When they were well on their way, Mr. Murdoch turned and looked back at her suspiciously. "You're a queer one," he said. "You got something inside that bread?" Ellen gasped. She buried her face in his back and blurted out the first words that came to her mind. "I'd get a whipping with a birch rod if I lost it." "Reckon you would," Mr. Murdoch said. "Makes me think of my father. He cut a hole in the bottom of a loaf of bread and put his money inside. That was a stupid thing. Anyone could see where the hole was." Ellen was glad the snuff box had been put in the dough and baked inside. There was nothing that would show in case he wanted to look at it. All right, that's the end of chapter 9. If you haven't already, you should take a minute now to write down your gist, the summary of the most important events. When you're done, here's mine. And again, it's my thoughts and I think the most important ones, but if yours is similar, then you're on the right track. It says, Ellen begins her journey on the road to Elizabethtown. At first, she's making good time, but she gets scared when she sees the forest. She continues through and overcomes her fear just in time to meet a rider named Murdoch who who tells her the journey is longer than she thought. He offers her a ride to his home. On the way, Ellen drops the bread and is nervous that Murdoch will ask to inspect it. You may now go to lesson 30.